is very very important. और जो ट्रिपल बॉटम लाइन की बात डॉक्टर साहब ने कही, planet, ultimately each one of us have a responsibility towards planet, and planet is beyond people. Planet includes everything, all living beings in this world, resources, water, air, pollution, everything which exists in this world. It is our responsibility to a little bit what we can do in an individual capacity or maybe as in an organizational capacity. One, whatever we can contribute to the planet is only through people. And in order to inspire and motivate and drive people to that ultimate objective, we also need some money, right? So the profit comes. So I think this is a equilibrium approach must be adopted. मुझे नहीं मालूम कि कितने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन या कितने लोग वाकई में सीरियसली इस बात में के बारे में सोचते हैं, क्योंकि सरकार ने कहा 2% प्रॉफिट CSR में खर्च करना है तो कंपल्शन हो गया. एक सवाल ये पूछा गया है कि भाई ये जो बात कर रहे हैं हम CSR की, कि या अंदर से ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में आती है, ये मार्केटिंग पॉलिसी है टैलेंट अट्रैक्ट करने के लिए. मेरा मानना ये है, आप शहद बनाइए, मक्खियाँ अपने आप आ जाएंगी. डू वेस्ट अ लिटिल बिट कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशन as an individual or organization, whatever we can do towards the people, towards society, towards planet. Let us not look at what profit we will get. It will come automatically. Thank you, sir.
So my final comments are that when you look at it, it's business imperative to look beyond profits. So otherwise, देखिए आप लोगों ने वो लालच की एक कहानी थी ना, सोने का अंडा देने वाली मुर्गी. So, you know, as a business, that Sone ka anda is typically my profit. And what happens is, I'm sure you would have seen so many family-run restaurants. बहुत नाम होता था, 50 साल से चल रहे थे, 60 साल से चल रहे थे. Somebody came and said, यार प्रॉफिट बढ़ाना है, क्वालिटी कम कर दूँ, ठीक है, कस्टमर सर्विस बिगाड़ दी. ऑटोमेटिकली थोड़े दिन बाद बिजनेस बंद हो गया. So it's a business imperative for you to look beyond profit. Those old days of exploiting people, exploiting resources, exploiting Mother Earth, etc. are gone, because society has changed. People want to work for organizations which have a purpose. So सारे examples हमारे यहाँ पे हो चुके हैं. And other thing, very important thing is that हम लोग यहाँ पे बैठे हैं, all of us are facing pollution, etc. And a lot of it is because you would have realized in the two months when the first lockdown happened, सारा pollution खत्म हो गया था. One of the thing is that this Mother Earth that we have is not something that we have inherited from our ancestors. उन्होंने हमें दी नहीं है. We have borrowed it from our children. So we need to ensure that we keep this thing running and give it in a better, make it better and give it in a shape which is better than what we got in. So बस उसके अलावा शेर वेर तो अभी मैं नहीं सुनाने के मूड में हूँ.
आपके कुछ सवाल आए हैं तो उसमें से 2-3 सवालों का हम लोग जवाब देंगे. कर्नल साहब, आपके सवाल का जवाब प्रद्युम्न दे रहे हैं.
The question raised was profit makes an organization grow. What good use is an organization if it doesn't lead to growth? Can not to profit be considered beyond profit while including the intangibles? See, we never talked about not for profit. I will give you an example of Mother Dairy. As I said that in every review we talk about only volume. Even if I have to sell milk which is procured at Balaji in South and I have to sell in Delhi, I will bring it. I will add my transportation cost into it. But I will see that the farmers' interests are protected. But when we talked about volume, we have grown from, say, 3,000 crore to 14,000 crore now within span of 5-10 years. So that is where when we say, and we are earning profit every year, our balance sheet is, so when you talk about the purpose itself, always it gives you profit. Not for profit is not an option for any organization, because you need money for growth. You need money for infrastructure. You need money to take it forward, take your vision forward. So profit is there, but it is not only the purpose of existence for any organization.
Profit का भी purpose होना चाहिए. युवराज.
So there are two questions. First is, every organization is having profit maximization goal, but if all organizations adopt beyond profit, what happens? So I think that Pradyumna answered the same question, that we are not talking about you not making profit, but the question is that how do you make profit And do you do things beyond profit also? Profit is not, everybody is not in the charity, organization. Everybody is not there to do only philanthropy. Business is to make profit, but make profit so that you don't go do things which are not in the interest of the society, stakeholders, or the overall planet. So I think beyond profit means that you make profit, but make profits in the right ways, so that you don't impact things unnecessarily adversely. Other question is, should a startup company at initial stage look for nature creation or profit maximization? So how I understand is that climate change, climate protection, ESG and all should be priority for the startup companies or not. So, I work for a company which is no more a startup, but it's 20 years old, a startup, that's what we call it. I think startups initially, a lot of startups focus on creating market, and they look at creating volume, and they look at creating or grabbing market. Profit basically comes later. Most of the startups don't make profit for a long time. They only invest money in terms of market creation. But yes, in the process, as long as they do things rightly, if they have governance processes in place, if they are aware of ESG mechanisms, I think that their overall sustainability is for the long. You'll see many startups getting rolled up or getting sold out or get listed only because their focus is very different. If focus is very different, then people fold up in 3 years, 2 years time, and then they make profit and move out. But long-term sustainable organizations go and get listed. Make My Trip got listed in 2010, and only intent was to tell stakeholders that we are in serious business. We are not here to really have a listing and make money and move out. And that's how this listing of NASDAQ happened. So I think startups initially have a very different approach, but if they follow the right processes and they want to remain sustainable, quote unquote, then they need to follow the process of ESG for that matter. Thank you.
पिछले हजारों सालों से प्रॉफिट ने जिस तरह से समाज का दोहन किया है, आवश्यक हो गया है कि इस पे चर्चा की जाए, और आज जो चर्चा का विषय है वो यही था। समाज में जो पीड़ा हुई है, जो दर्द पैदा हुआ है, और इस बात की आवश्यकता महसूस की जा रही है कि इस दर्द को दूर किया जाए। आज की चर्चा उसी के संदर्भ में है, और आज की जो चर्चा है वो मेरे को याद दिलाती है हिंदी के एक बहुत प्रख्यात कवि, गज़लकार, बहुत यंग उम्र में उनकी मृत्यु हो गई, दुष्यंत कुमार की। आप में से बहुतों ने इसका नाम सुना होगा। उनकी 3 पंक्तियां सुना देता हूं। उनके पहले हम ये भी आपके सामने रखना चाहते हैं बात कि हमने जानबूझ के ये युवा शक्ति को छेड़ा और कहा कि प्रश्न पूछो, क्योंकि ये ज़रूरी है कि उत्सुकता बनी रहनी चाहिए, प्रश्न पूछने की आदत होनी चाहिए। दुर्भाग्य से क्या हुआ है कि विश्वविद्यालयों में और इवन पेरेंटिंग सिस्टम में हम लोगों ने बच्चों को ये सिखाया है कि अच्छे जवाब दो। प्रश्न पूछने की कला हम लोगों ने नहीं सिखाई है। एजुकेशन सिस्टम डजंट टीच अस हाउ टू आस्क क्वेश्चन, इट ओनली टीचेस अस हाउ टू गिव गुड आंसर्स एंड get good marks and grades. We all are teaching how to face interview and give good answers, but it is equally important to learn how to ask good questions. And I am reminded by a very famous French philosopher, Voltaire, and I am fascinated by his quotation. He said that judge a man not by his answers but by his questions. Judge a man not by his answers but by his questions. प्रश्न पूछना सीखिए। हम लोगों ने प्रश्न पूछना भूल गए हैं, ये कला हम भूल गए हैं। और आज ये जो विमर्श हुआ है, हमारा कोई उद्देश्य हंगामा खड़ा करना नहीं है, लेकिन हंगामा होना चाहिए। और दुष्यंत कुमार कहते हैं कि हो गई है पीर पर्वत सी पिघलनी चाहिए। पीर दर्द, हो गई है पीर पर्वत सी पहाड़ों की तरह पिघलनी चाहिए, इस हिमालय से कोई गंगा निकलनी चाहिए। हो गई है पीर पर्वत सी पिघलनी चाहिए, इस हिमालय से कोई गंगा निकलनी चाहिए। आज ये दीवार पर्दों की तरह हिलने लगी, आज ये दीवार पर्दों की तरह हिलने लगी, शर्त लेकिन थी कि बुनियाद हिलनी चाहिए। सिर्फ हंगामा करना मेरा मकसद नहीं, सिर्फ हंगामा खड़ा करना मेरा मकसद नहीं, मेरी कोशिश है कि ये सूरत बदलनी चाहिए, सूरत बदलनी चाहिए। वी नीड टू थिंक बियॉन्ड प्रॉफिट। प्रॉफिट भी हमने कभी भी नहीं कहा कि हमें इस शब्द से गुरेज है, लाभ होना चाहिए। पैसा नहीं होगा तो हम दान भी नहीं दे पाएंगे। पैसा तो होना चाहिए, प्रॉफिट होना चाहिए, लेकिन उसका पर्पज़ क्या है ये हमें पूछना है। ये प्रश्न हमें पूछने की आदत हमें डालनी पड़ेगी। आज की सभा इसी पे मैं अपनी तरफ से समाप्त करना चाहूँगा। प्रद्युम्न को धन्यवाद देता हूँ, युवराज को धन्यवाद देता हूँ, अनिल को धन्यवाद देता हूँ, योगेश को धन्यवाद देता हूँ, और अनुराग तो आपके अपने हैं, इनको धन्यवाद नहीं दूंगा।
So thank you very much, and with this we have come to an end of this roundtable event. So this opening inaugural event of NHRDN Mathura Chapter was clubbed with the HR Conclave, and this activity was a part of HR Conclave. And that's the reason on the dais, except me, all the people, they are from the HR fraternity. And of course, these are the people who are the think tank of their respective organizations, and this topic is a very apt one. And I think the business school is definitely a place which should be discussing this very important topic. And of course, it's a kind of a chicken and egg story, and I don't know when it would stop. But of course, without naming any individual, I would say that the crux is this, that yes, the profit we need it, but probably we need something going beyond that, and probably that is going to, we have to trend on a very, very treacherous line that, well, how much profit, and whether are we basically exploiting or probably milking the natural resources beyond it can be replenished and so. So I think I must communicate my sincere thanks to all the panelists here. Special thanks to the panel moderator, VP Singh sir. The manner he started, he set the show, he set the ball rolling, was in itself a complete thing. Probably there was nothing left to discuss more. And kind of couplets and the poetry he brings in that tells a lot about the person he is, right? And along with that, Mr. Yuvraj and Mr. Pradyum Pandey, Anil Gaurji and Mr. Yogesh, they shared their thoughts, and they were not very different. They are basically harping on the same point, that yes, the organization must go beyond making profit and must create a value proposition for all the stakeholders. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And please do join us for the lunch. Thank you. And my sincere thanks to all my team, which has been involved into this, have been working since last many few days, and excellent coordination. My heartiest thanks to Dhananjay ji, who is sitting over there, and his whole team, which was basically monitoring everything and giving us a lot of guidance and support. Thank you, everybody. Thanks all the guests who have joined us, and thanks to all my colleague members who are present here and who have worked tirelessly to make this event successful. Thanks, everybody.
It was indeed a great learning session, must have helped in setting up new directions in dealing with workforce. It goes without saying that in coming years, organization would be undergoing massive changes. While moving beyond profit maximization, I think that is going to be by building people, and rather more important, by building planet. One thing I'm going to take away out of this session, that what Mother Earth that we have got is not inherited. Actually, we have borrowed from our children, and we have to give them the way it is. I think this is going to change our perspective of looking at business and getting the work done. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's a time to extend a token of appreciation and remembrance. So for this, I request Professor Anurag Singh sir to do the honors to extend our appreciation and remembrance to Dr. VP Singh sir. Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Pramod Joshi, Advisor to Chancellor, GLA University, Mathura, to extend our gratitude, remembrance to Mr. Pradyuman Pandey, CHRO, Mother Dairy. Now I request Professor Jalal sir, Chief Examination Officer, GLA University, to extend gratitude to Mr. Yuvraj Srivastav, CHRO, and sir. Now I request Professor Aruna Damija, Associate Head IBM GLA University, to extend a gratitude to Mr. Anil Gaur, Global CHRO, Unipart India Limited. Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Professor Anisia Sharma, Associate Professor, IBM GLA University, to extend our gratitude to Mr. Yogesh Mishra, Vice President, Thomas Assessment. So with this, we come to an end of the panel discussion, HR Conclave, Building Organizations Beyond Profit. Next roundtable discussion will start at 2:45 p.m. in Academic Block 5th, ground floor conference hall. Just after 1 hour of lunch break, I request escort team to take the charge and delegates and facilitate the delegates. Delegates' lunch will take place at Academic Block 1, room number 105. Faculty lunch will organize in Academic Block 1, room number 113. Student boys are going to be organized in A and C block. Girl student lunch will be organized in faculty mass. But before we proceed for the lunch, I request all of you to rise up at your place for formally concluding by national anthem.
नमन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
I request students to maintain discipline. Let the delegate be facilitated to the lunchroom, then student will depart. I request all the guests to please come near the dais for the group photograph.